Hey guys, this is Danks87. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make one-player games. So when you have a level and you only want it to be single player, it stops the other people from being able to come in and ruin it really. In this level there's only me, or so I'd have you believe. There are actually two people in this level. There are multiple ways of doing this, but I prefer this method. So for this tutorial you are going to need a broadcast microchip, tag sensor, tag, selector, follower, opacity tweaker, and the physics tweaker. So here's me and my second controller, both moving around. So these are two different players represented by both me, and when I drop to the ground I'm given a tag which will be called player. However, when player 2 or player 3 or player 4 drop, they turn invisible and they are no longer able to move. They also have no collision, which means they pretty much don't exist. Then when I drop down, they just follow me. This allows for all cameras and triggers and all that things to be still activated. So without having the microchip in your face, this is exactly what's going to happen. I can move around freely as if the other player isn't there. The player will just follow. He has no collisions, he's completely invisible, he does not exist. So when I go into play mode, you will no longer be able to see him, you'll only be able to see me, and it will be as if I'm by myself. Another method that people like to use is team spawn points. So this is when you change it to color coded and then you change them so that only red comes out of the red. Now it's thought that red represents player 1, blue represents player 2, and so on. However, in my experience I've found that this is not true. It seems to be quite random. So I've made a couple of levels where I would have only red spawn, which only spawns player 1. However, player 2 will spawn from it and player 1 will not spawn. And this can cause a problem if you are actually by yourself and you go to play a level, but instead it tries to spawn another player. So using that method can be okay, but it's not guaranteed to work. Okay, so moving on to my method. You can place down any material, it doesn't really matter. I always use sticker panel because I can make it invisible. Then I'm going to place on a broadcast microchip. This broadcast microchip settings, we want the trigger radius to be all in range. We want the range detection of maximum to be infinite, and all 16 layers. Then inside the microchip we want to put another broadcast microchip. This broadcast microchip we want to set to exactly the same thing. So all in range, infinite maximum detection range, and all the layers. So it's absolutely identical to the first. However, we also want to change the character to detect. Now inside here we want to go to the settings and we want to make it lead player. So only the lead player will be given that broadcast microchip. And inside that lead player broadcast microchip I'm going to put a tag, green, and it's going to be called player 1. So that sets us up. Second player will not get that tag, whereas I'm the lead player, so I get the tag. Now we're going to place down a tag sensor. We're going to set this tag sensor, and it's going to be 0.0 in its maximum detection range. We want it to detect all layers, and we want it to detect our tag, which is player 1, so green and player 1. We also need to invert its output. Next up we want to get a selector. This allows us to, as soon as it is detected it will always stay on. So the second player will always become invisible and cannot become revisible, if that is even a word. So we're going to place the output of the tag sensor into number 2 slot in the selector. Next up we want an opacity tweaker. Going to set that to 0%, fade time 0.0, and we're going to take number 2 from the selector into the opacity tweaker. Then we are going to get a physics tweaker. We are going to place that down and we are going to make that non-collision, so collisions off. And again we're going to take it from number 2 and put it into the physics tweaker. Lastly, we want our follower. We're going to set the follower's speed to 100 and 100 in and out. Leave the strength at 50. We want the detection range to be infinite and all of the layers, so all 16 layers. Then we want to go down and change its behavior from follow the player to follow the tag. And then we want our tag to be green and player 1. Again we're going to use selector output 2 and put that into the follower. And that is it done. It's quite simple. All it is doing is detecting whether player 1 is around, and if he is, then we'll make every other single player invisible and follow player 1. So only player 1's actions count towards anything. So now that during play mode there is only a single player. The other players are still there, they just can't be seen. Even after a spawn, or when you spawn, the second player or third, fourth player are still not there, and they still cannot be seen. However, they are still in the level. Well, thanks for watching guys, keep tuned for more and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers guys.